Hi everyone. To all of you just joined, we're just going to give a minute or two for other people to join the webinar. So we'll start very shortly. I see someone's seen the Q&A box. We've got some questions already.
Yeah, we already have a question about closed captioning available. Unfortunately, this is a live event, so we are not going to be able to provide closed captions at this time. But we can follow up with a blog post that has a deep dive into all the features we're about to discuss, as well as, I believe, the video somewhere you may have one.
Yeah, so at the end of this, we'll show you the actual video that we put together. That is a 2.5-minute video of this summer release, and you'll also have access to this webinar. So if you want to share that internally with your teams, you'll be able to do that as well. Look, okay, great. So I think we'll get started, not to keep everyone waiting here. So welcome to everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us on this webinar, where we'll take you through some of the new features we've released over the last 3 months within Ziflow. As we said, there's a Q&A box, so people can't hear me. Can you guys hear me okay? Or
yep, audio is good on my side.
Okay. So if anyone can't hear me as well, just let me know. But yeah, so we'll be recording this. Yes. So we will share it with everyone. And just quick introductions. I'm one of the co-founders of Ziflow and CEO. And the product and its use and its evolution is very close to my heart. So I enjoy doing these and getting feedback from everyone. And I've also got Alex who's joined us on this webinar. If Alex, you can quickly just do an intro of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Alex Richert, Director of Client Services here at Ziflow, and super excited to show you guys what we have built over the last few months since our spring roundup.
Great. So just a couple of things, just Ziflow related in terms of, first thing I'd like to do is just thank everyone, thank our customers, our users. You've been absolutely fantastic giving us feedback on the various sites, G2, Trust Radius, Capterra, and so on. I just want to thank everyone who's done that for us. We really do appreciate that. And it really does help future users and customers get a sense of what it's like to use Ziflow, work with our team, and so on. So we do really appreciate that, and thank you for just taking that time to do that. The other thing we've had is we've had our first company meetup since we all got through COVID, and this is the first time we've been able to meet up since end of 2019. It was absolutely fantastic. The theme of our meetup there was was all about you, our customers, and how we can help you be successful. But it was absolutely fantastic meetup, and just thought I'd put a screenshot here of the team members part of Ziflow who's sort of behind the scenes, building around the product, helping out on support and so on. So I just thought you'd like to see this. We're sort of very proud of what we built here with the team, and it's really thanks to you being customers of ours. So just quick agenda of today. I'm going to take you through some of the new features and enhancements of the product, so comments related, and also batch review and folder links. One thing not on here is a preview of the new dashboard UI that we'll be releasing. So I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek of that today. It's still early days, and we don't have an ETA yet for it, but I'm going to quickly show you what we've been working on. And then Alex is going to show you some of the other new functions with briefs, and then we'll talk about integrations as well. And I know there's a question about FileMaker that we'll answer in a bit. So At the end, we'll leave time for Q&A as well. So I'm going to jump straight in, and we're going to look at one of the new features we've released. It was actually in the beginning of the quarter. Sorry, I'm just going to hide this Q&A box. So one of the things you've all probably experienced already is unread comments. So when any of your new proofs, since we released this, will have those to see if made a comment or added a reply to those comments. And very easily, you can click on the show button to just filter down on these new comments. So I'm just going to quickly add a reply here on one of these comments. So Jake asked Sarah, can we include New Zealand down on this image? So I'm just going to post a reply from Sarah on that, and we can see immediately the yellow dots appeared there, and then the number went up to 6. So if Jake, if you come in here, you can then see, okay, there is a reply to my comment, and the indicator will show that, and we'll mark it as read, as soon as you've looked at that. So as I mentioned, you can also click on show here, and that'll filter the comments down to everything that's been unread now. So you can see these are the 5 comments that Sarah's made in the meantime. So you can then very easily just click through those and look at those comments. One of the other new features that we've also been working on is the ability to copy comments. So this is extremely useful when you're comparing versions side by side. I think we've all experienced this. We do as well when we review, when we review these different assets, and you basically go through each one of these comments and you say, yeah, okay, I'm marking it as resolved, it's done, etc. Now I'm just going to take an example here. Jake's I've made a comment. Let's imagine I'm Jake, made a comment here that I'd like this image zoomed in on the new version, but basically it doesn't seem like much has happened here. So I can very easily just click here and click on copy comment. Now, one thing to note is in next week, Wednesday's release, we'll actually bring this button out to the comments. You don't have to click on the ellipses. You can just straight click on the copy comment button, and that'll be available inside the previewer when you compare side by side. But very simply, you can just click copy comment. It'll show you that the comment's been copied from which version. It'll have a link straight back to it, and you can just add that in. You can add additional text if you want to do, and then I will just click on post there, and it'll immediately add that in as a new comment. So if I just close V1, look at the comments, we can see it straight in there, and the comments there. So you don't have to copy and paste, retype these comments, which I know can be obviously a real hassle and a bit of a pain. So that's the other second new feature we released. The other one I wanted to mention is, especially for video, it's a small one, but can be quite useful. So, often you will be looking at a video and, can click around, look at the comments and so on, but you quickly want to see where you're at. Now, we've got these thumbnails that do appear, but also as you scrub, as you sort of move the timeline now, will show up the thumbnails as you do that. So previously it just was paused and you had to look at the little thumbnail. So we'll actually show that in the video as you scrub there, and you can see what's in there. And just moving back onto batch review, let me just open up these comments again. The other thing that we've done with batch review, there's a few things we've added to the application. Previously, when you did batch review, and batch review, just to remind everyone, batch review is one of our new features we demoed back in April, and it's the ability to create a proof with any type of asset. So it could be static, rich media, videos, live websites. You can combine any assets that you want, and it'll have one decision across all those assets. And then what you get is when you open this proof, you'll get this carousel. Now, previously, when we first released this, all of the comments were just listed. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to see which asset it applied to. But as you can see here, we now group them by assets. So you can very quickly say, okay, this is the brochure comments, and these are part of that promo video. Now, you can also filter that down to current asset only. So if you click there, and click on done, it will only show you the comments that are on that asset. So if I move between the assets, it'll just show those comments on the assets. The other thing that we've enhanced is the downloading of the files. So previously, if you had a website as part of your batch proof, you weren't able to download the assets. So we've now enabled that. So if there's a website as part of your batch review, if you download original, it'll zip up your assets and it'll give you all the actual fixed assets that are available there. And then finally, if I just do the export to PDF, I know a lot of you use this either to keep copy offline, or you send it to your creative team. But what we've done with the batch review now is very simply added the asset name, so the file name of that asset below the comments inside here, so that again you know very quickly from this thumbnail which asset that applies to. And one of the other things we've released just very recently is the ability to share folder links. So a little bit of background on this. Often you have individuals or teams that you want to give access to a folder and just say, hey, just go, here's a folder link. We're going to be adding the assets here. And as we add new items, you can just go and review them. So with folders, you can access it from a few different areas. But when you're in a folder, you'll see I've got a new icon that's appeared here. And basically, with the shareable link, you've got different link settings. So you can restrict it. And this means that only people that the folder's been shared with can access the contents of that folder. If it's public, it means anyone you share it with, anyone you send the link to can access that link. But do note, they can only access the proofs that you've given them access to. So it's not just a free-for-all. And there's a new feature that we'll be releasing probably in the next quarter or so, which will allow you to enable what we call proof subscription. So if you share this folder link, you can have individuals who aren't on the proofs go and subscribe and start making comments and decisions. But that's something that we bring out in the future, and this is part of that work. So if I just keep this as public, I'll just show you what that looks like. So I've copied the link, and I've just pasted it here. And this is now Sarah from marketing. So basically, you can see the folder name, and you can see all the assets that have been shared with us. So you can then very easily just click on any one of these assets. Just go there and open that asset, and you can be straight in there and review it. And this is for all the assets in that folder. So very, very quickly, your team can look at all the assets that's in that proof and review them. And you can also see how many comments have been made and so on. We'll be enhancing this view over the next game quarter or so. We'll be providing some status information, the individual's own decision or review status on this view that we'll be bringing out. And you can see the version indicators and so on here also. And then finally, as I mentioned, we are working on a new interface for the dashboard. So I'm going to give a very quick sneak peek. This is new. We're just working on this as we speak. So this is very much in development. So what we're looking at doing is moving the actual navigation over to the left. So you can see all your usual links will be there. You'll have your folder structure down on the left. Your folders either in your own account or shared with you, and we're moving the settings to the bottom left. So this entire view on the right will be pretty much for your work and what you're working on. So we've moved the filters up at the top here, and you can add as many filters. And if you decide that you want to pin a filter, it'll appear at the top. Again, you can still create all the filters that you want, or the views. And we've added a new sort of layout. So, especially for those who like to see things a bit more visually, we have a new thumbnail view. Also, much quicker to in terms of creating a proof and so on. What we've done is you're not being navigated away. It's just a form that appears straight in the UI, and you can see you have a whole area here to drop your files, etc. And very much the UI still looks as you used to. we're adding a new capability here to, I don't know if this is, yep, it's in the system. So if I add multiple stages here, I'll be able to see how these stages, etc., are linked to one another. So you'll have a sort of a workflow diagram. So that's one of the other areas we've been working on. And then, proof details, still very much the same. It'll be a flyout, but we've now sort of tagged the information. So it's not an entirely long list that you need to read through necessarily. Again, you've got the workflow diagram there to very easily visualize where you are in the workflow. And then you've got all the other information that you're sort of used to here. So it's a very quick sneak peek of what we're working on. So the team, is working hard on this UI, and this is going to include a whole bunch of other new features as well that we'll be releasing as part of this new layout. So I'm going to hand over to Alex now to cover some of the other new features that we've released.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. And as we go through, be sure to keep filling the Q&A. We have some good questions coming in the Q&A, so keep filling that, and I appreciate it. So we did just start sharing my screen, so if anyone can't see it, let me know. What we're going to take a look at through here today is the product brief, or the proof brief rather, and then I'm going to show you a day in the life of someone that's using all of the new integrations that we built. We have some really cool new integrations with some of the apps that a lot of our creative teams use. So we'll take a look at how that holistically can work together. But one of the things we heard from our creative teams is the need to put context to or add more information to what is going to be coming either for the project or what is needed for feedback. So you can include a project brief now, and you can format the text as you need to, so to make it as visually and easy to distill when someone looks at it as you need. And you can also attach reference files. So when you are in the proof, and we're looking at a museum website or a museum redesign website here, I have on the right-hand side the brief as it is in the proof settings. So this can be edited by anyone that has proof manage permissions. And you can, like I said, add as much text or as little context as you would want, format it so that it's easy to read. And then anyone that has access to the proof can even download the reference files and keep things moving pretty easily. So this is really, really nice. It stays static, but you can also collapse it so that you can have that full visibility into your comment thread, which is awesome. Another thing that we did is we have expanded our offerings on the integrations. So we've recently added Microsoft Teams. We also have Trello, and we've added the ability for Dropbox to send and receive files. So if you add a file to a folder in Dropbox, that will create a proof. That's been something that we've had for quite some time. However, now if you're using Dropbox, whenever the proof is complete, or depending the event that you want to have, you can have that then send to a folder in Dropbox. So we'll take a look at how all of that works. The creative team we're looking at today also is using ClickUp. So we'll be able to see how the proof moves through a ClickUp board and how we can pass information and keep things organized on your project boards. And then for those that are making comments and actually completing the creative work, we're going to take a look at Trello. And when a comment gets labeled, have a to-do item come into Trello and then see what happens when that to-do item is completed. So to start off with our creative team, we have two folders in our assets to review. So I'm going to go ahead and bring over our assets to review, drop a file in, and as soon as that file is dropped in, we'll see it added to the folder, and then a new proof will get created. So as I'm sharing video and things like that, a little bit of processing. So we'll see that drop in on the dashboard. I do have one already pre-made for us to take a look at. So once that asset comes in, we have a workflow that's already applied. So we have our simple workflow here with our copy and design, legal team, and client. And then on the brief itself, or on the proof itself rather, we have a comment, and we have the ability to start providing our feedback. So as I'm completing my review or providing my feedback, the asset that I dropped into Dropbox is already available for me. I'm providing feedback, and I have a comment here that's asking me to swap out the background. So if I have that comment that I want to see swap out the background, I can go ahead and apply a label of to do to that comment. And as soon as I apply that label to do, we'll see a new ticket get popped up and populated right here in Trello. So now in Trello, I can open that up, click on the link that's available to me, and it's going to open up the proof in the viewer with that comment already open and anchored, which is really, really nice. Additionally, over on our ClickUp board, I have our summer roundup with our proof in progress and all of the information needed. So if I go back over to our proof that has the comment opened, I can complete my review or I can submit my decisions on here. So since I have a to-do item already there, obviously I'm going to go ahead and have changes required, and then also changes required on the copy stage. So if we look at our ClickUp board, we'll see the summer roundup go to in progress. Because ClickUp doesn't update automatically, I'll give it a quick refresh so we can see. And now we have our item that is in changes required, and it will be in the changes required area here. So that automatically updates your ClickUp item, and it keeps things moving from a to-do perspective on our Trello board. So now I have my comment listed to do. My creator has made the update, swapped out the background, and can resolve this comment. And upon resolving the comment, if we look at our Trello board, it's going to move from things to do over to complete. So everywhere that you're working with your creative suite can see exactly where these projects are and where the items for to do live. So now if we go back and take a look at the workflow, I can add a new version to this, but instead of adding a new version, I'll just go ahead and approve this through so that we can see this final asset get delivered over to Dropbox. So now we have our proof moving through our workflow. So I'll go ahead and change this to approved for our copy team. Our design team likes it now too. We're all set from the legal perspective. And now I have this set up to deliver back to Dropbox when the asset is fully approved. So right now we're still in progress because we're waiting for our client to approve the final review. So once I approve that and we have an approved overall status, if I go ahead and look at my approved assets, we'll see the new asset get dropped in here in just a second. So when that asset drops in, we can go from Dropbox, ingest a new asset, kick off a proper workflow, add that proof to your ClickUp board so that your project team can stay on the same page. And then any items that come in that are labeled, particularly to the way that you want, in my case, I did to do, that will add an item to the Trello board, and then we can see that complete. So that's a pretty comprehensive, holistic view of the new integrations that we built since we met with you in the spring. And looking at our list of Connect apps, this is going to continue growing. We have a few coming. I believe there's a couple on our list that we're going to have coming out soon, and I won't name them because I don't want to put that onto the product team. But with that, I think it's time for us to show you everything we just demoed to you in a nice video that our motion team has put together. So I'll go ahead and play that now.
Creative teams. Our latest release roundup is all about making reviewing assets faster and easier for everyone. Let's dive in. Ziflow is dedicated to making sure that your feedback never slips through the cracks. The Ziflow viewer will now show the number of unread comments and replies on an asset. Look for the yellow unread indicator at the top of the comments and next to each comment. The Ziflow viewer has also been updated so you can easily copy comments from one version to the next when comparing assets. The enhancement lets teams quickly surface overlooked changes that need to be actioned before final sign-off. A high-quality creative brief dramatically improves the quality of any creative project. Ziflow's proof briefs are the perfect way to align team members and give them an overview, timeline, milestones, and goals of a project. Proof briefs can include formatted text, links, and reference files, which will all be visible in the Ziflow viewer. We've expanded on our industry-exclusive batch review to include submission via intake forms so that freelancers and external users can upload groups of assets for review. The Ziflow viewer now organizes comments by asset, making batch review easier than ever. And the PDF proof report now includes the asset names by each thumbnail for quick reference. And we're enhancing how folders can be shared with your reviewers. With one shareable link, you can now give your reviewers access to all the proofs in a folder so they can easily access all the assets they need to review. We know your creative workflow is powered by more than just Ziflow. And with Ziflow Connect, Our goal is to automate as much of your workflow as possible so you can get on with delivering exceptional creative. Our latest native integrations with Jira, ClickUp, Trello, and Teams allow you to keep projects and tasks up to date as new proofs are created and decisions are made. And our Dropbox app has also been enhanced so you can now deliver approved files to folders of your choice. Keep an eye out for new Ziflow Connect integrations as we continue to grow our ecosystem with leading vendors. We hope you enjoy using these new features. Get in touch and tell us what you think. We love hearing from you.
Listen, thanks, Alex. Alex, we had a question about Teams. I don't know if that's set up at all.
I do actually have that set up, and as we were watching the video, I realized that was one thing I didn't touch on. So here we have a Teams channel, and whenever I created the proof or dropped that file into my Dropbox folder, it automatically added an announcement in a Teams channel saying that there was a new proof to review. So we can have this action on a couple different ways, but the most popular we've seen so far is having a channel, alleviating from the need from too many notifications from too many places, and you can have them come from Ziflow, and you can also have that quick access from a Teams channel here, and then have the ability to access the proof right from a channel in Teams.
Yeah, and just a few things on the Teams. I mean, so Teams and Slack, you can send any information you want. You can send the links for the asset for the proofs. You can have comments go, decisions go. You can send them to different channels, etc. So it really is flexible in how you want to share information in terms of to Slack and Teams. One of the other questions was if there's more than one image in one version and not in the other, how do you look at them side by side? Can you just bring up a brochure? It doesn't matter, just even if it's a V1. Within the viewer, when you do, actually just go to one of the brochure assets. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, just go on, Alex. You can explain as you click around there.
Yeah, absolutely. So to be able to match up your pages or scroll independently, at the top, there's this link button. So when you check the button or you click it so it's no longer linked, you can then scroll each pane individually. So you have the ability to have kind of that unlinked experience. And then if you do want to match them up to a point where I have my second page matched to my or my third page matched to my second page, then when I relink them, they're going to scroll in unison again. So you can have that kind of mismatch. But the key point you're looking for is the link and to lock the navigation for your side-by-side compare.
Great. And if you want a demo of that, we're happy for the support team to jump on a call as well to show you that. One of the first questions I had was about FileMaker. We can definitely, we can integrate into. There's parts of what FileMaker do that we can do. Obviously, we don't need to understand the use case. So again, if you just want to reach out to us at our support team, we can get a call scheduled with Alex and his team to help work through your use case. So just let us know, no problem. All right. There was a question about being able to have the ability to examine the previous version to the current version before you make it live for the next stage. I'm not 100% sure if I got that question correctly. You can compare any versions within the same proof or other versions in the folder with one another. So you can, if you've got them as separate proofs, you can click on them. But yeah, as Alex showing, he's opening a totally separate, different proof here, and you can compare those. But if we didn't answer your question, just let us know. We can try to cover that. One of the other questions, are shareable folders available to reviews that aren't users? Yes, they are. So you can send that. So you'll have to make it when you go to the folder. And you share it, so it'll be, yeah. So you'll make it public, so non-users or guests, they'll be able to open that, click on the proof. They'll be asked to sign in because we won't know who they are, but they can sign in, and then they can access the proof and make comments on it. Okay, I don't know if you've got any assets that are public there, so yeah. Again, you can see there's a restriction on there, so just depending on who you are. Great. And let's just go through. One of the other questions we had is, can you copy comments from any version of the proof and not just the last one? And yes, you can. So you can open, if let's say you've got 4 versions of a proof, you can go back to V1 compared to V4 and copy that comment from version 1 to the latest version. And just change it on V1 on the right, Alex. So you want to be on V1 on the right, just at the top. No, just go to V1, you're on V2. Yeah, that's it. So you can take any of those comments. If you just click on the first one and just click on the ellipse, you can copy the comment and you'll see again, it'll show you that it's been copied from V1 there. One of the other questions, can you tag people in the proof brief? At the moment, you can't. You can obviously tag @mention people in comments, but the proof brief really is about providing context now for the project and what you're working on. Now, one of the things that we are already working on today is that we are looking at checklists. So you'll be able to have a checklist that reviewers go through, and what we're looking at doing with that is that you can have proof level checklist or stage level checklist, so that team has a checklist. So that's something that we are working on, but the proof brief is very much it's contextual information. So yeah, we just got some clarification. I think the question is about a preview of a version with comparison before it's uploaded and live. So I think, yeah, maybe we should set up a separate call if that's okay. So we've got your contact details. Nick, if you can just make a note, we can reach out to you and we can just look at that use case live, if that's good. And we had another question about integration with QuickBase. So I believe QuickBase has an open API, so we can already integrate with them using what we call a webhook Zybot. So if we don't have the native app there, we can still do an integration. So if you want to reach out to us again, Alex and his team will be able to help with that. Another question, if PDF have comments, will you have the ability in the future to add those comments to the version when it's uploaded? Yes. So we are currently working on the ability to export a proof to PDF comments, so to a PDF with its comments. And then with that, we'll be doing the import as well. So it'll be when you create a proof from a PDF, we will then convert those comments to Ziflow comments. So that is something that's in the works. The export will definitely be coming out. Well, I say definitely. Q3, we're working on getting it out. So yeah, we're definitely trying to get it live in Q3, and then the import hopefully straight after that. So it shouldn't be too long. So a question, can you turn off the new combined proof view from individual proofs to the old style with continuous pages? So I think the question is that can you have the combined proof and have them one after the other? Is that the question? I just need to ask clarification on that. But you can at the moment upload multiple assets and you can decide whether they are batched or not. So they can still be individual proofs. So yeah. So if you just click on separate proofs versus combined, and then merge static files, they will actually merge any PDFs. You can see that print add 1 and print add 2 is one individual asset within the batch, but you can create them as separate. So if you just click on separate proofs, that should hopefully create them as should create them as individual proofs. I'm hoping that answers the question. Just let me know if it didn't. Notification center. So we had a question on that. So notification center we're working on. We have the designs ready for it. The team, the tech team is busy working through through what we call the user stories and the engineering side in terms of what it'll take, what we need to do in terms of the architecture. Our target is definitely this year. Rough guidelines, either late Q3, we work on calendar year. So or be Q4. So it's either going to be the autumn or the winter release. So it's going to be one of those. It just depends on how much work that'll take. But we are actively working on the notification center. And just to give you, with that, we'll also have a Ziflow app that'll be in the for Apple and Android. But the whole idea with the notification center is that you don't have to look at emails. So we want to have everything in there, from new notifications, unread comments, mentions, etc. So that will be sort of the hub for anything that happens on the proofs. And the other thing that we are working on is a digest that's across all your proofs, across a folder. So that'll be daily, hourly digest, for example, that'll just go across all the proofs. So that is something that the team is working on for later this year. All right, so I'm just looking through these. Okay, so there's a question about distribute proofs to a group email address and say in Outlook. So we don't always know who is in the distribution list. So that's the one thing that so if you have a group at mycompany.com, that link will be sent to that group. Now, what we are doing is, and what we are working on, is what we call proof subscriptions. So what you'd be able to do is you'll be able to send that to the group, and those users, or that list of those list of people in that distribution list will be able to just auto subscribe themselves to the proof, comment, make decisions. Or if you need only one or two of them, they can go in and do that. So that could potentially solve it. We do have groups in Ziflow. I understand that doesn't, it means you have to have the same distribution list on both sides. But we do have the concept of groups, so you can share, a proof with a group at the moment. So another question is, can you control the permission of different folders so clients can only see client folder contents and not what is in the creative folder? So the one question I have on that is, if the creative folder is inside of the client folder, but with Ziflow you can do that. So actually how we work is the permissions for folders go from the top down. So if you share a top level folder, so if PM integrations here, if that's shared, anyone on that share can see everything below that. But what you can do is, if you have let's say let's say campaign A, and you have a creative folder in there and you have a client folder, you can just share that client, that subfolder with the client, and so they'll only have access to that subfolder. So yes, and just to answer that question, you can definitely share folders and basically split who sees what. And if your client has a Ziflow account, they'll log in and they'll be able to see exactly those shared folders. So on the left there, where, and I'll just annotate to take it from Alex there, but on this left hand side at the bottom, you'll have shared folders, and you'll see all the folders that have been shared with you. So we've got a question about stage checklist. So are we working on where you can see which version each person approved without having going through versions? That is something we would really want. So let me just get that again. So Mary, on that one, I just have to, I'm not 100% sure I got the entire, so you want to know which versions have been approved by a particular person. So if I understand it correctly, you have V1, 2, and 3, and let's say John's approved V1, he rejected V2 or didn't look at V2, and he approved V3. Is that, I just wanted to clarify if that's a question. If we can't cover it now, we're happy to talk. Just send us an email and we can definitely go through that one. Okay. So a question about the Adobe CC apps in terms of uploading process. So the question would be, so it feels like it takes longer if you go through Adobe CC. So it's going to depend on which one. I mean, with Premiere Pro and After Effects, we are using the encoding. So what we're doing is normally, the designer or motion designer would have to do that transcoding and then upload it to Ziflow. So we actually kick off that process within Premiere Pro. With InDesign, we'll convert them to PDF. Illustrator, Photoshop goes straight through. But if there's, Glenn, if there's a specific use case, so just let us know which of the Creative Suite apps it's taking longer, and we'll happily take a look at that and see why it's potentially taking longer. It shouldn't take much longer. It's using our public API, so it should go very quickly. Just normally, apart from the encoding, as I said, with Premiere Pro and so on, and After Effects. So got some feedback. The orange box can be distracting. Any way to make an option so you can turn it off at the account level. That's a very good point. We'll definitely feed that back to the product team in terms of saying, hey, make that an account setting. So we'll have a look at that. So we'll take a note of that. Thank you. All right. So I'm just looking through some of the other questions. They've got quite a few other ones. We might have to answer these, some of these afterwards. So we had a question about the API. Are there any plans for expanding on new API features? I mean, we keep adding to the API. The proof brief support goes live on next week, Wednesday. But Stuart, if you've got any specific API requests, just please let us know. We can definitely look at that. But yeah, we want the API to be as useful as possible, as much as the app itself. Alex, you want to take a few here while I look at the, okay, it's InDesign and Illustrator. Thanks, Glenn, for getting back on that. InDesign, it converts to PDF. Illustrator shouldn't be too much longer. So I'll have the team look into that, and we'll get back to you on that, Glenn. We'll do some tests on our side, but we'll see what's going on there. But it shouldn't be much longer than uploading straight to Ziflow.
I'll take Cole's question. Cole asks, what's the process of setting up the Dropbox integration? It's very, very simple and very straightforward. So whenever you have under your Connect tab on the left-hand side under Applications, Connect Application, establish the connection with either Dropbox Personal or Business. And then whenever you're creating that flow, all you need is the action at which you want it to fall off of. So in this case, I had it going off of the decision made on a stage, and that stage being the client stage, and then it uploading to a Dropbox. And all I needed to do was apply the path in my Dropbox setup where that folder is located. So very, very easy. We have good help center articles as well that kind of give you a step-by-step walkthrough. But as far as doing it, all you need to do is establish the connection with Dropbox and then create a flow off of the event in Ziflow you want to have that delivered, and then identify the path. Looking forward to other questions. Any plans to allow user groups to be more dynamic? It'd be nice to be able to set up a workflow template with a user group and have the template update as the users are added. So essentially, if I'm understanding that question correctly, when you have a workflow template, you add a group to that template, you would like it to always look at the group as it's updated, and then whenever the template is applied, apply those new users or apply that current state of the user group. I'm not sure if we have that in the plans. It's a good idea. And do you have any idea if that's something that we've discussed previously?
Sorry, can you just repeat? I was reading a question. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what the question is looking to do is, if I have a workflow template and I identify a group, so my client group A, for example, is in the template, have it every time that that template is applied, have it look at the group current state and not whenever I added it. So basically, can the groups be?
Yeah. So that's something that we will be working on. So we were going to split groups. So we're going to introduce a new concept called teams. So those teams will basically be active teams. So as you add or remove people from the team, it'll update the proofs, it'll update your templates, it'll update your Zybots, etc. So yes, it is something we'll be working on. I don't have an ETA on that yet, but it is something that we personally would like to use ourselves at Ziflow, but also it's very very popular requested feature that we've had. And Mary, thanks for that clarification. It's a good point. I mean, yeah, seeing who's approved what version. Yeah, we'll definitely take that feedback and see how we can make that yeah, more visible within the application. And we had a question about OneDrive. OneDrive and Box is on our list. It takes a little bit more effort for us to integrate with cloud storage, just because it's not like with these project management systems, etc. We can just push and pull information very basically. But with the OneDrives and Boxes, cloud storage, we need to do a very tight integration in terms of when files and folders are created and so on. So it's both on our list. Again, I don't have an ETA on that, but it's something we'll be looking at in the near future.
Looks like a lot of the remaining questions. Go ahead, Ant.
Yeah, and I was just saying there was a question about if workflow sent to a predefined group, do the reviewers have to be Ziflow users? No. So a group can be users or non-users. You don't need to have them as users. And Adobe XD, yes. I believe that'll either be Q3 or Q4, but pretty soon. But we'll have XD support very soon with the extension. Awesome. Okay. Great. I think that's, yeah, we have a few other questions. I know we'll answer these after. Okay, so process of setting up the Dropbox integration. It's very simple. Alex, I don't know if you just want to quickly show Dropbox and how you connect.
Yeah, absolutely. So to do that, all you need is under Connect and then your applications. Connect application and establish your connection with either your personal or your business. And then once you're done, all you need to do is create a flow. And in this case, like I said, I have the flow triggered off of your decision made on a particular stage. And I indicated that stage to be any stage named client. And then it will send the file over. And all I need to do is identify the path of where I want that to be dropped in Dropbox. And it looks like a lot of the other questions that we have in might be best served either through email or some clarification in there. I know we're almost to the hour point. We're over 45 minutes, so want to give you guys some time back in the day. So any final thoughts or any summaries? Yeah.
No, it's great. Thank you so much for everyone's supporting questions. It's really great. It was great seeing so many people on this on the webinar. As you said, this recording will be available afterwards, and we'll have the video. Also, it'll be on YouTube, and we can send that around if you want to share that internally to your teams. One of the other things we will be making live within the next few months is a roadmap that you'll be able to access as customers. So we'll give you insight into some of the initiatives that we're working on, like the notification center, like the new dashboard we're working on, checklists, etc. One, you'll be able to add your comments to that, and secondly, you'll also be able to vote on that. So that'll give us a little bit of an indication of, what the popularity is of these features. So that will go live in the next few months. So have a look out for our newsletter on that. So that we'll be sending a link out for that. Right.
Awesome.
So yeah. Thank you for everyone joining today. Really appreciate your time, and yeah, we look forward to for the next webinar, which will be the autumn one. Great.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Great.
Bye bye.